Hope you guys are having a decent afternoon. I'm sure you're all aware of what happened yesterday. Yesterday was absolutely insane, man. Like I literally woke up to that news, and um, yeah, like it's literally here right here on the stream. I believe Eric July streaming about it right now, but it's not going to be too long of a stream. But before we dive in, I just want to talk about this like really quick. we we live in a society where people are free to have their own opinions. It's democracy. Everyone is entitled to have free speech. And the fact that people will literally display acts of violence just because they disagree with you on something, or if they don't that you don't agree with their opinion on something, is absolutely insane to me. It's not just political. It's also in entertainment as well. You know, we've seen it happen time and time again, and it's absolutely devastating, man. What happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday is, in my opinion, one of the prime examples of censorship. In my opinion, of trying to censor someone for trying to speak out on their beliefs and spreading awareness to things that are happening. Obviously, I've been doing live streams for the past couple of weeks talking about censorship that's happening in gaming and in creative freedom. And in my opinion, I feel like that's what happened to Charlie Kirk. Um, and I honestly don't know what's going to happen moving forward. It's a very scary time that we're in, especially for what happened to him. But I really wanted to do this live stream to talk about um, how these people in entertainment, the people that we're supposed to um, buy and ingest their media, the mainstream. These people are literally making fun of this. And again, just because you disagree with someone on their opinions on something doesn't mean you should want them dead. And worse than that, praise them for acts of violence, and it's just insane. So I want to talk about this main story. That's the title of my live stream, about this DC writer talking about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And just so you guys know, this individual was fired literally less than 24 hours after what they said. And it was rightfully so, because if you're going to say something like that, that means you do not care about your career. So this person lost their job, and I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think they will ever be hired anywhere else, because if you are going to go on a public platform and praise someone being unalived in front of hundreds of people, in front of their family, then you are an evil piece of shit, and you do not deserve to ever work in an established organization ever again, especially for something as established and as mainstream as DC Comics. So let's take a look at this video. Geeks and Gamers Day reported this earlier today. Let's take a look at this, because oh yeah, and this is the person right here in question that said that horrible thing. This disgusting human being right here. So let's take a watch.
His value on our create
Fast forward back a bit.
aftermath of this and the horror that everybody witnessed. A lot of people took the time to celebrate, including somebody who writes for DC. You know, DC, the new Superman movie. Maybe being kind is the new punk rock. All this shit. This is what they actually think. This is the writer of Red Hood #1 by DC Official, released today. It's long past time to flush the trash creators out of comics. Enough is enough. And this is Gretchen Felker Martin. And we pulled this fat, disgusting beast up on our stream yesterday, Jeremy. And I said, look, it's tough to tell if this person's trans or not, because when you're that fat, it's tough to tell, right? This is a trans person. This is a man who identifies as a woman, also is the size of an elephant. It says, thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch. Hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk. Wow.
Like the fact that you could say something like that, like it just shows like you are a different type of evil, and you have no remorse for human life. And again, people see the thing about the internet. There is a lot of people on the internet on different platforms. They literally will say things like this on the internet because they know in real life they cannot say things like this, like IRL in real life. in front of people because they know they can't, because they're afraid, because they're pussies. That's why, people are free to say whatever they want on the internet, because, they there's no fear of confrontation from these people. And that's why they're free to say things like this. And again, you can say whatever you want on the internet, but when it comes to talking about, especially some people being um, assassinated like that, and you like praising it, making fun of it, in my opinion, I feel like some sort of repercussion has to happen. Like whether you losing your privilege to that platform, um, whether you facing prosecution, something has to be done about that, because we've seen it happen time and time again to different individuals, and it's absolutely insane. Um, like we've seen it happen with Asmongold and what he's going through. That's gonna be the next video about his father. But it's just absolutely disgusting.
Unbelievable. And that's who we're dealing with right there.
This is who we're dealing with. And luckily, it did not take long before we got a response from DC Comics. DC Comics cancels Red Hood comic book series. The first issue of the 17 plus rated Batman spin-off comic book series went on sale September 10th. So the first issue was out yesterday.
So yeah, this book got canceled after the first issue. So props to DC for their quick response time for getting rid of this person, but at the same time, I'm still upset too. Like, why would you hire individuals like this? Because let's be real, majority of these people who work in modern entertainment, they have these type of thought process because they're very political when it comes to their entertainment. So even though it's good that they got rid of this person, there's still gonna be a lot of repercussions. Like people still gonna be asking questions like, why would you hire an individual like this? Like, did you vet this person? So obviously, over the next couple of days, people are probably going to be sifting through this individual's social media accounts, like reading tweets, what they're saying. And yeah, DC is going to face some heat about this. Even though they got rid of this individual, depending on what type of stuff they posted before, DC could face a lot of heat, especially for this situation.
Yesterday. And that is how the person who wrote it decided to spend their time celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. And
just for you tuning in, the way they made fun of Charlie Kirk, like this person literally, like let's fast forward back to that tweet. Let's fast forward back to that tweet for what they said. So there's what they said. Like you can read it right here. They said, "Thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch," and she really says, like, well, because this is not a female, this is a guy. He said, "Hope the bullet is okay after touching Charlie Kirk." Like, again, these are people who have no remorse. And mind you, this is someone who writes for mainstream comic books. This is a writer for DC Comics, someone who wrote a Red Hood series. This is someone who works in the mainstream, and there are more people in the mainstream who had comments like this. We're going to go through the videos that I have here, but this is just absolutely insane. This is insane, fucking insane, man. And this is why I keep saying that we have to get rid of people who are literally do not belong in modern entertainment. Because there are people like this, like again, these are the same people who will dehumanize you for not supporting their woke content. Like we've seen it happen with the release of Ironheart. There are people like the mainstream media were literally saying, if you do not watch Ironheart, you are racist towards black people. You are this phobe, like that phobe. Like, again, these are people who will dehumanize you for not ingesting their product. Even if you have like a genuine criticism about it, or if you have spread your opinions about it, they just don't want to hear it. Because if you have like those type of opinions about it, then you're this and that. Like they'll tell you everything in the book. They'll call you a Nazi. They'll call you all this type of stuff, and it's absolutely insane. And these are the type of people we need to flush out. Like this person, this individual, there are more of them in the industry. Just don't believe that this is like just one in a company. Like there are more individuals like this in the mainstream, in mainstream entertainment, in gaming, in comic books, in movies, animated series. There's so many other people like this, and we need to get rid of them because this is just absolutely vile. Like it's absolutely insane to me.
Tell if this person's trans or not, because when you're that fat, decided to spend their time celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, and they got canceled effectively immediately, less than 24 hours after this disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, this is the person right here. Like, again, like let's remove the political stuff out of it. Why would you even say something like this to someone? Like especially like the tragedy of like what happened yesterday, like how like the fact that you are compelled to even say something like that on a public platform just shows the type of human being you are.
Book launched and it was over. DC Comics cancels Gretchen Felker Martin's Red Hood after one issue following Charlie Kirk comments. And DC's statement that they put out, let's see if I can get to it. Here's the statement. When contacted for reasons behind the cancellation, DC Comics provided the following. At DC Comics, we place the highest value on our creators and community and affirm the right to peaceful individual expression of personal viewpoints. Posts or public comments that can be viewed as promoting hostility or violence are inconsistent with DC's standards of conduct. And now one person's going to be sad for this fucking demonic beast.
No, not at all. But so it's good that this person was fired. But I can't help but ask the question: why the fuck were they hired in the first place?
Exactly. Like, how is an individual like this even hired to work for DC Comics? And again, this is the same DC Comics that pushed, to push the gay Robin, the gay Superman. So obviously, I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised how this person got hired. I'm not even surprised because mind you, this is the same DC that pushed all that crap. So again, the fact that DC Comics, I'm just being honest, this is probably not the only person at DC that has the same mindset. This is probably the only person that got caught for what they said. Because these other individuals, they probably said this stuff. They either don't have a huge following, they probably deleted their stuff after this person got removed, or they just probably didn't say it like on a public platform. But there are more individuals who probably have this mindset at DC. Yeah, this creator right here made fun of the individual right here. Yeah, from their tweet. Like again, this is the type of people that works in mainstream media. These are the type of people, and it's absolutely insane, man. It's absolutely insane that these are the people that we're supposed to quote unquote ingest their content because they're the mainstream, and it's absolutely insane.
Why the fuck was a person like this hired to write a comic book series? That's the question DC needs to be asked, and they need to answer for. Why do you keep hiring these fucking activists that hate the fan base and hate everything that created this fandom? Stop hiring these people. Get to the source of the problem. Getting this person fired only brings up the question as to why were they even hired in the first place. You think that this person was going to get involved with this series because they love comics and they love fandom and they love the lore? Absolutely not.
This person just screams, big Red Hood fan, big Jason Todd fan, right?
Big fan of something.
Big buffet fan.
Yeah, big buffet.
That's
and that's
for sure.
the thing. It is tough. Like, a lot of times you immediately look, you're like, oh yeah, that person's clearly trans, obviously. Fats? It's tough. It's tough to identify when it comes to fats because you can't tell if they've just got fucking fat tits or not. You can't tell if they've got an Adam's apple. You can't tell by the shape of their jaw. So the fats really hide the trans shit.
Let's be honest. This man hasn't seen his wiener in about 6 years, so maybe he does think he's a woman. The truth of the matter, these activists have been, and you guys have been calling it out since like 2016. They've been injected into these types of entertainment, media, educational systems, and they have one goal, is to push their perverted ideology on everyone. And we started to see that early on with social media cancel culture.
And that's literally what it is. And what gets me upset too is that these are the same people that push so hard, like their propaganda onto people, and they get upset. Like they'll literally, like I said before, they'll call you all everything in the book. They'll call you a Nazi, a transphobe, all of this stuff. You know, you're a racist because you don't like what they're pushing. But apparently, when we do it, like when we try to do it, it's a problem. And again, you see like what happened yesterday, and it happened, and it's happened like before on a lot of people who actually do what Charlie Kirk does. That goes to public spaces and just have open debates and conversations. Like there's a lot of people that like to display violence, and it's just like, why are you displaying violence just because someone doesn't agree with your opinion? Like it's absolutely insane. Like these people are insane. Like it's absolutely insane. Like you are crazy. Like you really gotta look at this person and be like, yo, you are insane. You are freaking crazy.
Me Too culture, things like that. And it's like we'll just cancel. Like look what happened to Gina for speaking her mind, right? Canceled and fired and things like that. And we push back. We start pushing back. We start pushing back. We start pushing back. We start pushing back. And they're losing. They could feel it that they're losing. And the only thing that they have left now is violence, because there's nothing else that they can do. They're losing
And he's absolutely right. Because there's such a strong display in violence now is because they're losing. These people that try so hard to push their own agendas, their own ideology on people, the fact that nobody's listening, and the fact that there are other people like the Charlie Kirks out there and other people in entertainment that's trying to push back to get entertainment back to the way it used to be, like bro, they're losing. The only thing they can do now is violence, either violence or they'll make up stuff about you, like they'll try to defame you, and it's just insane. And that's how you know that they're on the losing side. That's how you know they're on the losing side.
everything. No one's buying this crap. Nobody cares what they have to say anymore. They're if Trump would have gotten rid of TikTok, who knows what the heck.
Nobody's buying comics anymore. Nobody's buying these Marvel and DC comics anymore, especially these types, because again, these people, like these individuals, they come in and they don't love these characters. Like, I need you to understand this, guys. They do not love these characters. They come in and they change these characters to fit their lifestyle and their narrative. That's literally what they do. What they did to characters like Tim Drake's Robin, John Kent's Superman, like, bro, they turned these characters gay for what? And literally the whole story was just them being gay. There was nothing compelling. There's no mystery. There was nothing. It was just them being gay. And it's just like, who are you writing for? Like, you are writing for a very, very small and minute audience that doesn't even buy comic books. It's absolutely insane. And they do this, and the reason why they push this stuff too, and it's not just with what they push, what they're doing with this in terms of changing their character sexuality. It's also with race swaps and other things too, gender swaps. They do this stuff too because, for some apparent reason, I don't know why, over the past couple of years, modern entertainment, especially when it comes to films, movies, streaming, they're trying so hard to push these characters. Like we've seen it happen with Ironheart, America Chavez, Miss Marvel. Like they try so hard to push these characters. And mind you, nobody wants to see these characters. And this all has to do with this whole inclusive and DEI world that they tried to push ever since we entered the 2020s. And nobody likes it. Nobody likes this shit. And they try so hard to push these characters on you. Like, it's absolutely insane, man. Like, nobody likes these characters. Like, it's not only the fact trying to push these characters onto us so hard, but it's the way you write and portray these characters. Like, these characters come off as annoying and insufferable. Nobody wants to see these characters. And you make these characters, like, apparently better and smarter than the original characters that we grew fond of. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like they really they really wrote in Ironheart that apparently, Tony Stark wouldn't be what he was if he wasn't a billionaire, trying to make it look like that Ironheart is some sort of like the underdog, and she apparently can do better than Tony Stark. And it's just like, why are you writing beloved characters like that? And it just goes to show you that they have a problem with a certain demographic of people. They have a problem with rich people. They have a problem with rich white people, and it's just insane. They try to push so hard on diversity, but it just comes off like nobody wants to see this crap. Making up problems that do not exist. That's literally what they do. They're saying there's not enough inclusivity and diversity, but in reality, you're just making up a problem that doesn't exist, and you're trying to gaslight people.
Could have happened, when he had the chance for these people, that is everything to them, and injecting message ideology and how they get hired is beyond me. That these organizations decide to take a chance, and like maybe that's what's popular right now.
And you know what the crazy thing is, like the amount of independent creators out there on the internet right now. Like I heard their stories, like people who try to enter the mainstream and either get rejected or they do get into the mainstream, but you know they're left off. They don't they don't take them seriously, and you just see like the creativeness they have, like they have such a creative backbone. It's absolutely insane to me that the mainstream is not flocking to these people, and that's why I said this time and time again. The future of entertainment is going to be these independent creators. This is the future of entertainment. Not just the future, not just entertainment, but this is going to be the future of things moving forward. Like things that we know, things that we flock to in terms of like not just the mainstream, but things that things that we always rely on. There's going to be alternatives for all these things, and I welcome it. I truly believe there should be an alternative for all these things. Like for example, what I said with the payment processors and what they're doing, how they're trying to censor people, how they're trying to censor creative freedom. There's going to be an alternative, and I welcome it. Because it's absolutely insane that people will really try to take us down just because we have an opinion that doesn't align with them, and we try to spread awareness on things that people should know about. It's absolutely insane.
I have no idea, but we've talked about how they've ruined our entertainment. They've ruined comic books. They've ruined everything else. The media is to blame for a lot of this violence because they push this bull crap too, calling I mean, I'm trying not to say YouTube words. Basically, they hate Christianity and they hate family. They hate white people, and they want you at a young age to grow up in an education system, in an entertainment system, in a pop culture system that hates America, hates white people, hates Christians, and hates anyone that doesn't think the way they do. And hopefully you're confused about your gender so we can control you until the end of time. And if you don't get what you want, then you have to resort to violence. That's just where we are now. And now a man with...
Yep, that's literally what it is. Like these people, if they don't get what they want, they resort to violence. I be seeing YouTube shorts like of people just like holding up signs, and these random people just come out of nowhere. They say, like that is very offensive, and they like you literally see them trying to like kick the sign, throw the sign, try to hit the individual. It's absolutely insane. It's just like, bro, the dude is holding a sign, and the sign is not even directed towards you. And the crazy thing is, these people, they're literally willing to have a conversation with them, like a genuine conversation with them. But these people just resort to violence, like just like that. And it's just like, dude, like you are crazy. You are insane. There is a problem with you.
With a beautiful family has been assassinated in front of thousands of people online. Because of these freaking freaks,
Well
and their
said,
stupid
Dave.
ideology. So yeah, cut.
And I literally woke up to that yesterday. Like yesterday when I woke up, I tuned into Eric July's stream, and the headline said like prayers for Charlie Kirk, and I had no idea what was happening. And then I opened Twitter, and that was literally the first thing I saw. It was the close-up shot when he was sitting down, and it just showed his neck, and I was just like, that thing broke me, man. Like again, like I personally didn't really agree. Well, I say I agree with like 80% of Charlie Kirk's take, with his takes, and I loved his debates. His debates were pretty entertaining to watch. I loved them, but the fact that you want to literally kill someone just because you don't agree with their opinions is absolutely insane. And like I said before, it's the ultimate form of censorship, trying to censor someone. You displaying violence, you trying to dehumanize them. It's the ultimate form of censorship. And that's what's happening in our society today. What happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday should be a sign, should be a huge sign to a lot of people. It should be a huge sign that this society, these individuals in our society are trying so hard to censor us. They're trying to quiet us because they don't want us speaking the truth.
I mean, if I get going a little
No,
too
no, man. That's good. It's good stuff.
kind of.
In Yellow Flash says that trans writer has a history of doing this. He's a radical. I've heard him before. He's insane. I think that there was something with this dude and
So this is interesting. So Yellow Flash, he has another decent big following. So the fact that he said that this is something that this individual said before, and DC still hired this individual, is telling itself. So that right there, that is a problem for me. So that literally shows that DC has no problem with hiring individuals like this. Mind you, guys, this is current day DC. This is DC currently right now. These are the type of people that work in current day DC. Let that sink in for a second.
radical. I've heard him before. He's insane. I think that there was something with this dude and J.K. Rowling, if I remember right. Something in the news about that fairly recently, within the last year or two. But yeah, it's not like this is a surprise. When you hire somebody like this can't come as a surprise, right? When this is what they do. It just can't. It's impossible to think that. Imagine this person walking in and you give them a job, period.
And again, that's where the whole thing is like, I'm not gonna give DC credit for firing this person. I have to ask, why the fuck did you hire this person?
Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I especially now knowing that they have a history of doing this, I really have to question that. Like, why would DC hire an individual like this? That just lets me know, like, who is running DC, like the types of people that are running DC Comics. I feel like the only reason this individual was fired, that they fired this individual, is because it was spreading fast. If this thing wasn't spread, if no one didn't really know about this person probably would have never lost their job. But because it was spread so fast, DC had to respond. That's the only reason why. Because they know damn well if this wasn't spreading, this person would have never been fired. They would have kept this person around. So yeah, I actually have to wonder why they would hire someone like this if they have a history of doing things like this. This is modern entertainment today, guys. And again, I'm not someone who supports like cancel culture, like trying to cancel people for saying, their own views on things. But if you're praising violence on people, then you have an issue. That goes. It doesn't matter what side you lean on. That is just like something that in general, like if you are praising someone after losing their life, especially in a horrific way like that, it doesn't matter what type of individual you are. You have a problem. You are insane. I'm not saying that you have to agree with what Charlie Kirk did, but the fact that you're praising his death, it just shows the type of human being you are. And again, if you praise what happened to him, I personally think you don't believe in God. Because any person who believes in God would never praise someone getting unalive like that. Absolutely not. It's absolutely insane. Dude was only 31. He's not even that much older than I am. Like, he's only like two couple of years older than me. Like, practically the same age. Lost his life so young, and he accomplished a lot of things. Like, again, you can have your own opinions on Charlie Kirk, and you are free to have your opinions. But you cannot deny that praising someone dying like that. You cannot deny that is okay. That is wrong, because that is absolutely wrong for you to praise something like that. And this writer is not the only one. Like I'm gonna go through other individuals who said stuff like this, but it's just insane to me, man. It's absolutely insane.
Person to begin with. What did you expect was going to happen? I would love to ask the person that made the decision, what did you expect from this person when you hired them?
This person right here, their career is over. They can never, ever, ever work for the mainstream ever again. This person is done. This person is done. This person is done. This person might end up homeless. I'm just going to be honest. This person might end up homeless, because what individual is going to hire someone like this for anything, for any job of that matter? Even fast food. Like, who is going to hire someone when you say stuff like this? This is like, you, bro, like, your life is over. Your life is over. You might as well like move back in with your parents or something, because you're not going to be able to work in society ever again. Absolutely not. No one is going to take a chance with you ever again, because because you said this, mind you said this on a public platform where your information, your real name, and your work history is out there. No one is going to take a chance on you ever again. You have destroyed your life. You have destroyed your life and your career, and I do not feel sorry for you, because you did it to yourself, and you have a history of doing this.
Because you don't get credit for firing them. They would have an answer, but we all know the answer.
And it was not just in the comic book space. We had stuff going on in the gaming world as well. There are already a lot of questions about Sucker Punch's follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei.
What they say? Oh, that's what I showed you already. Content. Let me go back. So let me go back to the tweet. For those of you tuning in. So yeah, like I said, there's the individual who's that the writer who lost their job, well deserved. They're a member of the alphabet community. For those of you wondering what were they originally, I originally they're a guy, but it's kind of hard to tell, and I agree. This is what they said. For those of you tuning in, this is what they said. This is literally right after what happened to Charlie Kirk. They said, "Thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch. Hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk." They said this publicly on fucking Blue Sky. Fuck, who the fuck uses Blue Sky? They said this publicly. And this is a writer for DC Comics. This is a writer for DC Comics, mainstream comics. They said this publicly. And as soon as they said this to start to circulate, it got to a point where like huge channels with like millions of subscribers started talking about it, and DC had to respond, especially for something like this. They had to respond. They had to get rid of this individual, rightfully so. I can't really give credit to DC because again, they have a history of doing things like this, and you just got to wonder who and why they would hire an individual like this. And it just goes to show you that this is what modern entertainment, these are the type of people that work for modern entertainment. And it's absolutely insane. There is also the people who work for Sucker Punch, the people who wrote the people who are currently working on Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. There is a senior developer who also had some remarks about what Charlie Kirk said. We're actually going to play that right now.
Industry cannot help itself to show exactly where they stand in terms of the psychosis that's affecting the entire industry right now and has been affecting it for many years.
I just want you to let you guys know that the people who are saying this stuff, these are people over at Blue Sky. Just let you guys know. I mean, there are people on Twitter too saying stuff like this too, but Blue Sky, there's a lot more people saying stuff like this. So in terms of what happened to that DC riot, that person lost their job. In terms of this person at Sucker Punch, for what I understand so far, nothing has happened to this individual yet. And Sucker Punch, Sony, and PlayStation, they need to take action because, mind you, this is a game that's supposed to be coming out in the next month. Mind you, this game is coming out next month, and mind you, there's already some criticism about this game. This individual saying this stuff to Charlie Kirk is going to destroy the release of this game, and Sony Japan will not have it.
You know what happened with Charlie Kirk? We've talked about this. I live streamed about it. I discussed it in length. But we are going to continue to cover the gaming industry as we always do. These people that are advocating and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk are the ones that want you to be silent. They're the ones that don't want you to talk about what they're doing. They're the ones that want to be able to do everything that they're doing right now without any pushback whatsoever. And if they had the opportunity, they would turn you into a Charlie Kirk. They would absolutely take every chance they possibly can to turn you into a Charlie Kirk. So now we have another post here that is showcasing exactly how unhinged things are going. So we have Grum saying, Sucker Punch Senior Dev celebrates Charlie Kirk's death. Ghost of Yotei is dead to me now. I mean, I feel like Ghost of Yotei probably should have been like whatever at this point, but okay, I guess so. And then tag Sucker Punch Productions. Now, tagging Sucker Punch is not going to do much, and I'll explain in a couple of minutes, but it's really not going to do anything because, quite frankly, these people like this stuff. Sucker Punch has been co-opted a long time ago, and if you look at the post that we're about to show you in a couple of seconds showing just how many people from Sucker Punch have been liking...
This just goes to show you why Ghost of Yotei is a thing and why Ghost of Tsushima, the sequel, is not going to feature Jin, because the Sucker Punch before is not the same Sucker Punch today. It's not. And this just shows you that these people truly have no dignity and have no humanity in them whatsoever.
Unhinged political tweets over at Blue Sky and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. I think you realize that Sucker Punch has been long gone for a while now. But anyway, so they end up showing this screenshot here from a person called Drew over at Blue Sky. Drew whatever. It says, Drew, Imorin, personal account. The good old classic. We love this one, right? Views are mine. Yeah, views are mine. To try to basically give an excuse to be unhinged on social media and not have to rely on telling your company why you're unhinged. But okay, whatever. Anyway, views are mine. Senior staff character, texture, and look developer, and annoying extrovert at Sucker Punch. XILM RNH, profile picture LNA, poly/ENM, she and her, Seattle. Now, again, all the typical things that you could possibly expect, right? They got pronouns on the bio, all kinds of sexualities, everything under the sun, you know, all kinds of identities imaginable. These are the people that, unfortunately, most of them are advocating for the death of Charlie Kirk. They are celebrating it. They're happy with it. And again, this is not me saying that. This is me just showcasing what they're saying, right? Like what they are actually advocating for and what they're celebrating. Because at the end of the day, all I can do is show you what they're saying. So in any case, she says the following. I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. Now,
this is wild. This is insane, bro. This is absolutely insane, bro. This is, mind you, guys, these are the people working on Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I want you guys to understand, these are not the same developers who worked on the first game. These are not the same developers, guys. There's a brand new team. Majority of them are female. Like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane, man.
Obviously, these people have a fetish for Luigi. Everybody knows the situation with Luigi. These people have a fetish with him, and they want to now apparently hope that this shooter goes by the name of Mario so that they can do this little stupid Super Mario joke and whatnot. And then they also reposted something from someone called John Walker, who says he died doing what he loved, being a transphobic, racist, bigot, because of course, right, all these big buzzwords, they mean absolutely nothing. And you know what's beautiful?
And this is what I'm talking about. These buzzwords they use, these are the words that they will use on you if you do not like their content. Like, these are the same exact words they used when Ironheart came out and nobody was watching it. These are the same words because there was a trans person, same shit. There was a trans person in that show the show featured a black female character, and mind you, nobody liked the show because the show was, well, let's be real, the show was terrible. Like, when you look at it in terms of an entertainment perspective, the show was absolutely terrible. It doesn't matter what era the show would have came out of. Even if this came out back in the day, the show would be considered terrible because it was bad. And mind you, these are the same words they used on people for not watching the show. Like, there was people who had reviewed the show, and they would literally call these individuals these words. They would call them transphobic, a racist, a bigot. They would call all these words, all these buzzwords, just because they don't like your content.
They don't realize that Charlie Kirk was taken out because he was reaching the youth, right? Again, I don't consume Charlie Kirk's content very often. I saw his shorts randomly every now and then because they were pretty much unavoidable, whether on TikTok, especially on TikTok, or even on YouTube. They were kind of unavoidable, so I saw them every now and then while doom scrolling. But aside from that, like his religious views and whatnot, I don't personally agree with. But again, doesn't mean I should want the fucking guy gone from the face of the earth.
Exactly. Like, you don't have to agree with everything you say. Like I said, I mainly, like, I found his debates entertaining. I didn't really agree with them 100%. I would say I agreed on like maybe 70 to 80% on certain things. But just because I don't agree with him on certain things doesn't mean I want him to be shot and killed. Like, again, like, we're talking about just debating and talking about our own personal views and personal things. Like, we have, like he said this too, like, if you don't talk about these things, then violence is going to be displayed. Like, he said this a couple of years ago. And again, these people who work in the mainstream, man, like, it just shows you, like, they shows you, like, who they are behind the mask. This is them mask off. This is who they are.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, the party that has all these heart emojis in their profile pictures, the parties that always talk about love is love and blah, 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 whatever, they are celebrating the death of someone who they ideologically disagreed with. What was his crime? Speaking different opinions. That was his crime. So, with all that being said, Sucker Punch has been completely co-opted because if you look at this picture here, I'm going to show you really quick what exactly is going on. If you look from Legacy Killer HD, he says there's also seemingly a number of game developers liking the post. Absolutely vile. If you open this picture here, you're going to see a whole bunch of developers basically liking the post. Why do we know this? Well, because Blue Sky does not private likes like Twitter did. Twitter enabled private likes, but Blue Sky does not have that. So you have Lee Cash, who is a senior producer at The Coalition, Vino Father, Bad Runner, Arcane Pyramids, Renowned Coffee Smuggler, Space Elevator Operator. You have TDM, They Them, AUDHD, JPUS, Sometimes I'm Funny, Kelly Snyder, senior producer over at Sucker Punch, Amateur Cosplay Armorer, D&D Picks, They/She, Rainbow Flag Emoji. So now we have a senior producer over at Sucker Punch liking this post. Why am I not surprised? But it gets worse. We got John Wood, who says, I make things. Sometimes they even work. You have a guy called Matt, says, character artist by trade, idiot by birth. Will interact with NSFW accounts. Well, that's good for you, I guess. You also got this person, Taylor Allison Swift's electric rifle. Says, all we are is skin and bones, trained to get along. 31, heart emoji. AUDHD, heart emoji. Queer, heart emoji. Indie gamer.
So you're seeing a pattern here, right? You see the type of individuals who are liking what this person said. You're starting to see a pattern here, and it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Just because someone has a difference of opinion of you, like, doesn't mean you should wish for their demise. Especially in terms of what happened to Charlie Kirk. Like, this is a cancer, man. This is literally a cancer that we have in our society.
Heart emoji. Number 1 Maroon by Taylor Swift Stan. Heart emoji. Socialist. Heart emoji. Free Palestine. All this nonsense, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, these people have more heart emojis than anybody in their profile pictures, and yet they're advocating for the death of someone because they ideologically disagree with them. That's the level that their love goes to. Then you have somebody called Dennis, SFX associate producer over at Bungie, says, I like movies, Legos, and ripping card packs. He, him. So now we got somebody over at Bungie.
So someone at Bungie who's saying stuff like this, man. And they already had some some issues with stealing someone's property for their recent release game. So again, these guys, this is Western gaming. I want you guys to understand these companies that he just said, like, these are Western games. These are companies in the West, majority in California. This is the stuff that they say, man. This is what they say. This is who they are. Mask off. This is how they see individuals who don't agree with them.
An associate producer over there liking these posts. Interesting. SOF says failed daughter. Programming. Himojoshi Magical Cat Girl 31. She, her. Monogamous demisexual lesbian. Heart emoji. Love, live. Heart emoji. Love, live. Wow, that's amazing. If only we can actually, believe what we're saying. Heart emoji. Bendori. Heart emoji. Precure. Heart emoji. Revstar. Heart emoji. Umamusu. Heart emoji. And then you have Joey, who says game designer, debatable, programs silly numbers to make games, controllers, and sometimes art. I swear I'm a funny person. Unapologetically bisexual. And then last but not least from this screenshot, you have Zib, they, them, rainbow flag emoji, white flag emoji, all kinds of weird other emojis. Says from whatever, producer over at Magic the Gathering Arena, previously at Sucker Punch Productions, and Nightshade VN. Sometimes I do art. Okay, queer as fuck, opinions are my own. Okay, so what do we learn from this? We learn that Sucker Punch, as we all have known for a very long time, is completely co-opted. Now, everybody's obviously bringing up Ghost of Yotei. At this point, I never tell people what to buy, right? And I never tell people what to spend their money on. I just don't, right? I try to give you the unapologetic review of whatever I'm playing at the time.
Yeah, I won't tell people like what to buy, what not to buy, but I'm just being real honest right now. What these developers have said to Charlie Kirk, it's going to hurt the release of this game. And one thing you gotta understand too, like, the reason why I said this game might make its money back is because this game didn't cost that much to make. From the research I've done, this game cost maybe about 60 mil. And if you include marketing, I would say maybe 80 to 90 mil. Like, they can make their money back, but mind you, it was already going to be difficult for them to make decent sales because of the controversy of them changing the character around and the certain game mechanics. But now you have developers saying stuff like this, and your game is 1 month away from release. Your game is 1 month away from release, and you are saying this heinous stuff, man. Like, you are destroying not only this game, but you are destroying the reputation of your studio and the reputation of PlayStation, because Sucker Punch is a PlayStation property. Like, this is insane, man. This is insane. You want this game to fail. That's why you would say stuff like that. Like, you literally want your game to fail. Like, that is the only reason why you would say stuff like that. Nobody in their right mind would ever say things like that, especially if you have something like a product that you're trying to sell. Like, you would, no rational person would ever say or do something to risk the sales of their product, especially if it's something that's about to be released. And this is exactly what they're doing. And you gotta understand, these YouTubers that report on this, you gotta understand, the YouTubers that report on this, they have a very, very large following, meaning that this will get reached and word of mouth will spread. And mind you, this game was already facing controversy because of the direction of this new game compared to the first one. And now this is arguably could be the nail on the coffin.
Whether it's good or bad, I don't talk about its wokeness. There's not a single review that I've ever wrote over on Steam that has ever mentioned politics or wokeness or anything like that. I just keep it about the game, whether it's good, bad, or ugly for whatever reasons, and that is it, right? I don't talk about ugly characters. I don't talk about none of that shit. However, this particular game, I gotta admit, I'm getting pretty close to wanting to call a boycott on, because simply put, the people over at Sucker Punch are just vile people. They really are. And you know what? I'll put it to you like this. I'm not even going to call a boycott. You guys do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not buying this shit. Plain and simple. I'm not buying this game, not even to review this game. I don't care how many people want me to review this game. I am not going to review Ghost of Yotei. Just simply put, I refuse to absolutely do it. And that's my choice. That's fine. I'm just one person. I totally understand that. But I'm not going to fucking review this game like I normally would. And I've reviewed all kinds of games that are problematic because people are looking for genuine, real reviews about those games. And believe it or not, some of the problematic games that people have an issue with, I've actually said good things about, which is so funny. But this particular game, Ghost of Yotei, yeah, that's not going to happen. This Sucker Punch can go fuck themselves, and I absolutely refuse to review this game in any capacity. Don't gift it to me. I'm going to deny it immediately. I don't want it, and I don't care. Now, here's the glorious thing about all of this, right? I don't know if people don't realize this, but this has been a thing for a while with Sucker Punch. And I'm sure that the situation right now with Charlie Kirk has got people very angry right now. And trust me, I know exactly how you feel. But the simple truth is that when it comes to Sucker Punch, they've been like this for a while. These are the people that were celebrating the almost assassination of Donald Trump. So if they celebrated Donald Trump, what makes you think they're not going to celebrate Charlie Kirk? And here's the truth about Charlie Kirk. As much as you may or may not like him, he was the most influential person when it came to the youth by far. He had more influence than any Republican politician combined when it came to talking to the youth. He got down to their level. He spoke to them. He went to where they were. He didn't have them come to him. He went everywhere and spoke to everybody and was just trying to have debate and conversation about ideals. And that's exactly what this country should stand for. So by offering him...
That is just simple, because this is something that these individuals who make content for us that we don't want, they don't want to have conversations. They don't want to take criticism. They don't. Like, if you try to sit down with them and tell them like, hey, this is not working, maybe we should go into a different direction, they will refuse you. They will either try to get rid of you, or they'll try to dehumanize you. That's literally what they will try to do. You try to sit down with like, for example, like, look at the I remember when the what movie Star Wars The Acolyte. That show arguably destroyed the Star Wars fan base. And mind you, the Star Wars fan base was already on the edge because of ever since Disney bought it, because there hasn't been not one single decent project that Disney has done with Star Wars besides maybe Rogue One. But The Acolyte arguably destroyed Star Wars, like destroyed the image of Star Wars, man. And then they want to make talk about the fans. Like, mind you, they're talking to the fans, guys. They're not talking to haters. They're talking to fans, people who pay money for this stuff, man. They will literally call them racist, phobes, all of this stuff. Like, how can you talk to fans like this? Like, without the fans, your project would not be what it is. This IP would not be what it is if it's not for the fans, especially for the diehard fans. Like, it's absolutely insane to me. Like, these people literally try to cater for normies or a minute audience that doesn't even ingest the product or buy it. They'll literally just do retweets just to post about it, just to say, hey, I support this stuff, but they won't lift a finger or buy into it. They really won't. And that's the issue that's going on with modern entertainment. And not to mention, you have sick individuals like this who are literally praising the assassination of someone who just wanted to talk to people to solve issues that are happening in our society. Make it make sense.
You offed exactly what this country stands for, and we already knew that you hated this country to begin with. So these mask off moments that these people are having, yeah, we see you. Don't worry about it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it.
Great video from Hypnotic, man. Give him a follow if you guys are interested. But it's absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane. And mind you, these are the same individuals who are make fun of like anyone going through certain things, man. Like right now, an otaku writer, Alyssa Moncante, she used to work for Kotaku. Apparently, she's making fun of Asmongold's Gold's father because he has cancer. Making fun of someone's father because they have cancer. Like, what type of individual? Like, you have to be a very sick individual to do something like that. Absolutely insane. I think the last video I'm gonna play is from Chibi Reviews. He makes a great video. He made a good video about this yesterday. I think this is gonna be the last video I play.
I think we've crossed the threshold, the point of no return. What happened today for Charlie Kirk it's so disgusting. And it is so gross what I have seen so many famous individuals say today, advocating or mocking the very assassination of Charlie Kirk. I have seen voices that's even in the anime space.
And this is not just the it's not just game developers that are talking about Charlie Kirk. There are actually like people with large followings making fun of him, making fun of what happened to him. Like there are people who have large followings on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Like there are a lot of people, like content creators, making fun of him. And I'm just telling you right now, a lot of these creators are going to lose their following for this, for the things they're saying. They're going to lose their following because the fact that you are praising the death of someone like that, especially just praising the death of someone in general of being assassinated, like you are a sick human being. You are a sick human being.
Base that voices characters like Subaru. For instance, I'll show screenshots.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the anime ReZero, the dub voice actor for the main character Subaru, he also made fun of what happened to Charlie Kirk. And yes, look, Blue Sky, of course, freaking Blue Sky.
On screen that is happy that this happened, that this went down like it is, or mocking him at the very least. And seeing big names, content creators, voices actually happy that it happened really just goes to show what the current state of the country I live in is. This entire situation has happened thanks to violent rhetoric and the dehumanization and demonizing of individuals that have opposing opinions. I'm not even talking about political opinions. I'm talking strictly just about opposing opinions. It could be on the topic of food. It could be on the topic of games, anime, manga. But if you have something that someone disagrees with, you say something about something of a topic, they will want you gone. They want you dead. And I have personally seen this myself. And I think a lot of people that have been online and have not put their head in the sand have actually seen it as well. There is an active movement, a push in these last years of dehumanizing people for years upon years to where people no longer see an individual that's been dehumanized.
And it's been happening ever since we entered the 2020s. Ever since this woke movement of things that have been happening ever since we entered the 2020, especially in entertainment, a lot of people have been, people have been trying to push this cancel culture on them for having a different opinion from others. Like we see that happen with Gina Carano with Star Wars and Disney. We've seen it happen to a lot of individuals, and the fact that this tragedy happens and people are literally celebrating, and like I said, like you are not human. You are not human. You are an evil piece of shit.
As a human. And then they feel like it is their given right, or it's justice to get rid of them. And this violent rhetoric has been able to flourish thanks to news media outlets profiting off of it, content creators and streamers as well advocating for violence against those they disagree with, and even social media. And I feel like that is where we're at right now, to where there's so much advocacy for violence that I don't think there's any going back. I think an invisible line has officially been crossed to the point to where people are done. And what makes this entire situation so tragic is the fact that Charlie Kirk, I don't agree with everything he says, okay? And he is technically someone that is a moderate. He's not like an extremist, very, very, very far extreme right leaning or anything, or Republican. I would place him as a moderate. And he was someone that, from what I've seen over the years, he has tried to do thoughtful and very fair debates with people with opposing opinions. And there's people that's even on the side, the left side, on the Democrat side, that are very sad for what has happened today. I have personally seen it. But the point of the matter is that he's always advocated for fair debates to allow people to.
And what he said is true. Like, Charlie Kirk was not like an extreme like radical or anything. Like, he was someone that just wanted to understand people, and especially the youth. Like, there was no one there was no one, in my opinion, who wanted to reach the youth more than what he did, in my opinion. And that's the one. And like I said, I didn't really agree with him on everything, but I respected him for doing what he did, going to colleges, speaking to the youth, trying to understand their viewpoints and where they're coming from, like trying to help them, better their life and their futures. That is very adult. That is a perfect example of someone trying to help better the community and help better our society. That is a perfect example right there.
Have their voice shared on both sides. And it's been a big thing about his entire process. And the fact that someone that is technically a moderate, that isn't necessarily an extremist, got done like they were done today, and then openly mocked by not just 100 people, thousands of people, hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people, and probably millions. It sickens me, because I personally have so much visceral hate within me, and that's not a good thing to feel. This situation is just systematically a symptom of what has been building up for a very long time. As I mentioned a long time ago, a year plus ago, actually probably even prior to that, people have been utilizing certain words, buzzwords, for a very long time, either by labeling you a Nazi, let's say a PDF.
Yep.
They will label you Hitler,
Yep.
Stalin,
Yep.
any form of criminal or mass murderer within history. They will go actively out of their way to try to dehumanize you and destroy your character. This has even happened to me, and I think any content creator, anyone online technically, don't even have to be a content creator, has seen this. And when there is a large amount of voices that continue to echo this back and forth with each other, it eventually will hit someone that is a psychopath, that lacks empathy, lacks any human emotion, and is a straight-up monster and will do the unthinkable. It was thanks to the constant rhetoric against him. For anything he would say, people would make sure to dehumanize him in any way they possibly could, that eventually led to a psycho wanting to get rid of him. And I think that what just happened here has put the room temperature of at least the American country into boiling status. There was already attempts, which I even talked about actually last year, attempts on Trump's life. And I said, no matter what side you're on, Democrat or Republican, I said if it happened to Biden, I would say the exact same thing. It is not okay to advocate or even be happy about political violence. It's not okay. And what we have seen happen today is one of the most extreme examples of censorship, actually.
It is.
To silence those that you disagree with through fear and violence. That is...
It is. And the mainstream has been doing this for a very long time, trying to silence people because they do not agree with their opinion, or they don't want to accept, their agenda that they're trying to push. It's been happening ever since we entered the 2020s. I'll arguably say arguably the late 2010s, like 2018, 2019 till now. It's just insane, and things need to change. Things need to change, and like I said, independents are the key to that change. And also, we just need to shed light on individuals who are trying to push this rhetoric onto us and try to get rid of them, just like with the DC writer. We need to find more people that have these type of ideas and get them out of entertainment, because that type of ideology, that type of thinking does not belong in modern entertainment.
That is the ultimate form of censorship, actually. It is the step up, actually, from anything I've talked about. because this will put fear in those that want to talk about certain things. This will put fear that wants to have a public debate. This will put fear in those that want to try to advocate for a civil debate between both sides. And as everybody knows, Charlie Kirk wanted a civil debate. He debated people in open debates, fair debates, and he was done like he was done today. This is the ultimate form of what censorship really is. The silencing of someone else, where they no longer can speak. And it is truly heartbreaking how so many people I have seen from the left fine with what's happened. And everybody's seeing it on a worldwide scale. This is how you radicalize people. This is how people become radicalized. Because people that are on the left, and the center, and even on the right, this type of situation does radicalize. Because it causes people to look at it and be like, how are you okay with this? How are you okay with this rampant violence? And I think anyone with a moral compass, a conscience, regardless of political affiliation, will outright be disgusted by what happened today. This is not how democracy is done. This is not what Americans do. This is not how you have free speech. This is not how you have civil discussion. And anyone seeing those that are advocating for what happened today and happy about it, mocking it, I think will push them away from that group. And I've seen it a lot. I've seen it from people I've known and I've talked with, actually, and I thought they were okay individuals. But then I saw this today, and I'm just like, okay. Like, okay. It also, like I said, like what I brought at the beginning of the video, like the whole ReZero voice actor with Subaru. Finding out the English voice actor for Subaru was mocking what happened. Crazy. That man works for Crunchyroll, by the way. This is some of the people.
And it just goes to show you that what type of place Crunchyroll is. I mean, I said this before. Crunchyroll is like, it's terrible now. They have the same mindset as the mainstream media. Crunchyroll, you can tell with how they do things, especially when you look at the anime. When you look at their Crunchyroll Anime Awards, like they have like certain like podcasts, certain individuals who they have on the podcast who are hosting it. Like you can just tell like Crunchyroll's on that level.
People that work for Crunchyroll. To make a long story short, the people that are fine with what happened today don't understand the dangers that this just caused. Because violence isn't just for one side. And it's a scary thing. It's very scary. It's unacceptable. It should not happen. But just as how there's crazies on one side, the left, there's crazies on the right. And it just takes one absolute unhinged psychopath to do something that can never be taken back. And that is now the fear. That's the censorship, technically. I'm so disgusted, man. You all have a good day. And may Charlie Kirk rest in peace. May his family recover, and I pray for them. I really do. They did not deserve what happened to them today. They didn't. Charlie Kirk didn't. No one. You all have a good day. Chibi out.
Yeah, man. So I think I'm just gonna end the stream there. Like I said, there's a lot of very sick individuals out there who, again, will praise someone being unalive just because they didn't agree with their opinions. And again, these people need to be accountable for their actions. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for joining me this afternoon for the stream. Like I said, what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday was absolutely devastating. It should have never happened. And I really hope they find the individual who did this. And I just hope that this doesn't make people afraid to to use their right to have free speech, because that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He used his American right of free speech to talk and debate with the youth and anyone for that matter. So yeah, I think I'll end the stream there. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me on social media, links in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This is the Wave Blur, and I'm signing out.